Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
All right, welcome to What's on Tap podcast.
Welcome to a very, very, very special episode.
It is a very, very special episode because we are in Lund and we are at the Bishop's Arms here, which I think is a highly underrated Bishop's Arms. I think it's one of the better Bishop's Arms in their vast collection of Bishop's Arms.
Yeah, it's also a venue I was extremely surprised that you and Matthias never reviewed back in the days before I was a co-host. But you never did.
I don't think we reviewed any bars in Lund.
You started with Tug.
That's right.
That was the
first episode. That's right. We did the first episode of Tug. And then we just never made it over here. And I would say over the years, this place went from being like okay to pretty amazing these days. I mean, they've got some pretty stellar taps. But before we go any further,
because you talked about years.
You did. This is our 8th anniversary episode. I know, 8 years. That's insane. I can't believe we've been doing this podcast that long. I didn't think we would get past 2 years, quite frankly. But to have 8 years, that's kind of amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about that.
Which makes this Sweden's second oldest beer podcast with 3 months. Difference.
Oh, those sons of bitches.
Allkin started 3 months earlier.
Those bastards. But we're the only weekly...
Yes.
We've been doing this weekly, so we always have an episode every week. And we cover beers from all over the world.
Yes.
Whatever we get our hands on, we try to review and throw some insight into some stuff that maybe you don't get your hands on regularly, or encourage you to go out and find new and exciting things in your neighborhood. So that's why we're at Bishop's Arms celebrating. In the past, I think our anniversary coincided usually with
we did one
a beer event in Copenhagen almost always. But this year there's no big beer events happening in Copenhagen. So we decided, you know what, let's just go to Lund and hit up Bishop's Arms.
Back to our roots.
Yeah.
We both used to work in this town. We both visited this place often.
Yep. And this is a really great location. So we're here today, and they've got Omnipollo on tap. They've got
Collective Arts and Pentridge.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff
Beak,
like that. Yep.
And I'm drawing a blank on the other one. A couple of other really good. And their bottles and cans are really, really amazing as well. They've got a lot of really great IPAs in cans and some pretty good stouts in bottles as well. And cans too.
So we got one tap beer and one bottle beer. Do you want to start with the tap beer?
We need to start with the tap beer because I think the bottle beer is still a little too cold.
Yeah.
So we want to give it a moment to... We haven't tried it yet. We're letting it warm up a little bit still. Yeah. It's still too cold. All right.
So the waitress is really curious what we think of the bottle beer. But we are going to start with the tap beer that I chose partly because of the brewery, but mostly because of the name. Yeah. This is Overtone Against All Odds, which really is it's our show. Our show is Against All Odds. It is amazing the amount of episodes that we've managed to push out. You and then us.
Yes. And we just keep plowing away. Just keep plugging away, bringing out episodes. Really enjoy doing the show. It's been a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to keep going into the future, never stopping.
And listen to an old anniversary episode. I think it was like 4th or 5th anniversary, where you say, I never thought we'd make it this far. And I said, we will go for we will have at least 8th anniversary, 9th, 10th. So it's partly a prophecy coming true.
It is.
In part, at least.
All right. Well, tell us about the beer you picked.
I don't know the hops. Okay. So it's Citra, Cryo, Cryo Pop, and Solero hops.
Okay. And this is the collaboration?
It's Overtone makes it from Glasgow, Scotland, but it's a collaboration with Allkin Brewery from Tunbridge Wells in Kent.
Okay. Not familiar with Allkin, but Overtone has kind of come out of nowhere and just been really making great IPAs. I saw that they actually have a milk stout in the fridge here from Overtone. I was like, I didn't know Overtone made stouts. I know them as their IPAs.
I had a number of Overtone stouts at the Bishops in Malmö. But this beer is a New England IPA at 6.5% ABV.
And what were the hops again?
Citra, Cryo, Cryo Pop, and Solero.
Okay. That tells me nothing, actually. I recognize Citra, but...
Okay. So, Allkin joined us on the road to unruliness, where we got experimenting with some new hop combos. The focus on Solero here provides a huge amount of creamy mango and passion fruit flavors, whilst Cryopop adds a twist of citrus notes.
Yeah, I would say it kind of tastes like Idaho 7 almost.
Oh, no.
No, but in a good way. Like, Idaho 7 is a good complementary hops. Like, it takes something and makes it gives a little more fragrance, I would say.
Yeah.
And I get that kind of undertone of that melon kind of flavor.
Sure.
That I think is really, really nice. And this is really light, very, very drinkable.
Yes.
Very refreshing. I'm loving this beer.
I don't know why I'm disappointed.
Are you?
I think it is exactly what I was supposed to expect from it.
Yeah, I mean, it says exactly what it is on the label. There's no surprises here. It is exactly what you would expect it to be, which is really, I think, okay.
I'm torn between a 375 and a 4.
Yeah,
but
that's exactly where...
closer to 375 right now.
So it's closer to a 4, only because I just think it's a very well-made, light, very easy to drink IPA. I don't remember what the ABV was on this.
6.5.
6.5, yeah, so perfect. I could easily drink a couple of these pretty easily.
But the best part about it is the name, Against All Odds.
Yeah, I like that too. All right, so that was our first beer, and our second beer is the beer.
The beer.
The beer.
We asked for the beer, and
yes.
they were, which one? The beer.
The beer. I know they were very confused when I asked for the beer at the bartenders were like, "Which beer?" It's like the beer, and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, the white wrapping paper one over in the corner.
Exactly.
So Buxton and Omnipollo a couple of years ago had a beer called Yellow Belly.
A lot of years ago.
Well, actually, it's only been 3 years since they discontinued it, I think.
Okay, so 2018 was the last year they made it.
Oh, was it? Okay.
But it was available in like 2011, 12.
I think. Oh yeah, no. The beer itself has been around for a long time, but they got what was called the cease and desist version, where they were no longer allowed to call it Yellow Belly.
Yeah, and that was bullshit because Omnipollo and Buxton they intended it to mean like a coward, a Yellow Belly, and they were sued by a little British brewery that made like a British pale ale called Yellow Belly, which meant the bird. Mm-hmm. There was no way you would ever confuse these two. But
at the time, around the exact same time, they got into a lot of negative publicity about this beer because it was it's just a bottle, a regular 33 centiliter, wrapped in a white paper it had 2 little dots above it, so it looked like a clan outfit, basically. Yes, it did. And it made it to the U.S., and some black people in the U.S. said, "That's some pretty racist shit." And so they didn't read the inside label. Nope. And it says, a yellow belly is a person who is without courage, fortitude, or nerve, a coward. To us, one of the most cowardly deeds is to act anonymously, hiding behind a group, and signifying trait of institutionalized racism. This beer is brewed to celebrate all things new, open-minded, and progressive. Peanut butter biscuit stout with no biscuits, butter, or nuts. Taste, enjoy, don't be prejudiced.
Exactly.
Omnipollo and Buxton.
So then in 2019, they changed the name because of this controversy to just Coward. And then it was a fist smashing a swastika.
Right. And that came out for a couple of years. It was in a black can with a white label. And now for 2023, they're back with the beer, the original label, and the white paper wrapping on top. So we both had this beer many times.
In different vintages and different names.
Yeah.
It's 11% ABV. Is it warm enough now? It was really cold.
I think it's warm enough now to try.
Cheers, man.
Cheers. Yeah. That's what I remember it being. This is one of the... I remember when I first had this, it was in my early days of beer drinking. And I was like, holy crap, that's amazing. It's so good. And then I tried the Yellow Belly Sunday, and then that was like the best beer I ever had in my life at that time. I mean, it did not get better than that beer. And I would get, every year it would come out, I'd be like, I don't care what the cost is, I'm going to buy Yellow Belly Sunday.
Are you talking about the regular one or the barrel-aged one? The one with the broken mirror?
The one with the broken mirror.
That was the bourbon barrel-aged.
Yeah.
That one was fire. Straight fire.
Yeah, that was the first time I ever had it, and it was just like instantly transported me to another time and space. Yep. It was amazing. They've discontinued that, unfortunately, a number of years ago, but I think for 3 years in a row I was like looking for it when it came out of web shop or wherever. I'd buy it no matter what the cost, and it wasn't cheap. But now we're back to just a regular Yellow Belly, and this is exactly what I remember it being.
I remember it having more peanut butter flavor.
Yeah, I remember it being a little drier as well.
Yep.
This is really sweet now.
Yeah, it is, but it's really good.
Yeah. It's still. It's not thick like you get with some Omnipollo beers, or they're more like syrupy. Not syrupy, but
it's closer to a Buxton stout than an Omnipollo stout.
Yeah, it's closer to a Buxton stout. So it's very light, drinkable, 11%. You don't taste it. It's very, very pleasant to drink. You don't feel like it's going to put you on the floor, but it definitely would if you drink the whole thing. I quite like it. I'm glad that they have re-released it and given it a new name, and they're keep putting it out.
Definitely.
I was never crazy about the coward thing. I didn't like that. I don't know why.
I didn't like that they put it in cans. It felt like a little bit sacrilegious.
I don't think it was as good in cans as it was in bottles.
No, that might just be
prejudice.
Recipe of that year.
Yeah.
How they change along the years. I don't know.
But yeah, this is quite nice. It's brewed. I think it's an imperial style brewed with aromas of peanut and biscuits.
Yeah. Just aromas.
Yeah, I think in the past they used a peanut butter powder.
Probably.
And they gave it a little bit drier flavor to it. But now they're doing something completely different, so who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
But it holds up. It's still a solid beer.
Yeah, it's a 425 or strong 425.
Yeah, I would say the same.
I hesitate to give it a 4.5 because of some other beers that are in that range that are clearly better.
Yeah, I can't give it more than a 4.25 for me. And it's actually kind of a weak 4.25. I don't think I think they've changed the recipe quite a bit over the years. I don't think it's as good as it used to be. I think it's still very tasty, but I think the peanut butter is not as strong as it used to be. And now it just is a little more sweet and almost kind of, I don't know what the flavor is. It's really light in the mouthfeel.
I think I'm just in a really good mood because we're celebrating 8th-year anniversary of the podcast,
and we had to go with a special beer for this. So I'm really glad we got to try it and review it on the show. The beer is an awesome name. I'm loving it. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 4.25.
So 8 years and basically 1 million episodes, give or take.
Feels that way.
Give or take.
Yeah,
I'm rounding.
Yeah, round up. It's good.
Yeah,
that's what I do too. Yeah, so congratulations. Thanks for being on this journey with me for the last 5 years?
Yeah, maybe less actually.
Less?
It would have been. So we officially made me co-host in spring of 19 actually.
Ah.
So that's just 3 years.
Almost 5 years.
Yeah, that's true. 4.5. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But I participated more and more near the end of 2018, and it was somewhere in the middle of December where you and I started recording very often.
Yeah.
It was just that you had so many. You had a few. It was an overlap between me and Matthias where we were both kind of involved.
Yeah. So it was whoever was available to record at any given time. So
exactly.
We would, you guys would switch off there. And once Matthias bought a house and moved out to the suburbs. It's like, well, we'll never see you again.
It was more difficult to get a hold of on a regular basis.
Goodbye, my friend. It was good knowing you. No, I still talk to Matthias on a regular basis. He's doing really, really well.
It's just difficult to do a weekly podcast.
It is almost impossible to do a weekly podcast with him at this point. So I guess we'll wrap it up here. So here's to 8 years, and here's to
8 years
more.
More years.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Go. All right. So you can find us online at What's on Tap Podcast, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and wherever you can find podcasts, you will find What's on Tap Podcast. So until next time, keep drinking your dum-dums
for many, many years.